right. Hello guys. My name is Sarah and I am with one of a Second Kind Designs, and I thought I'd go live here real quick and just show you what I'm working on. Behind me here I have this very large kind of French provincial looking dresser that I picked up a week ago or so. Super heavy. And it has been a beast, let me tell you. In pictures it's like, just looks like a wooden dresser. And when I picked it up, the top had some damage to the veneer, not damage, some damage to the finish, which is a veneer wood top. And then I opened it up inside of here and I knew it was not thin wood. So it's all primed right now, but I opened it and it was Formica. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Formica. It's pretty popular on this style of furniture back in the 80s, I want to say, 70s, 80s. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's just that it's slick and it's just not, to me, it's just not a very nice material. So anyway, and the person had stained it. The person before had stained the Formica. And so it was horrible. And as I went to clean it, sprayed a degreaser on it, and it was just like, stain was just rolling down. And I'm trying to scrub it off, and I'm just going through rags and rags and rags and paper towels, and I've never done this before, but I literally took it outside and took a hose to it because I just couldn't even get like the degreaser and the stain. It was just making, and then some of the like coating from the Formica was coming off, revealing some of this like wood MDF stuff under it. It's like a mix of wood and MDF. Anyway, it was a hot mess. So I had to like take my hose to this whole thing and primed it just yesterday, which I got a whole new, once you prime furniture, it's like, I don't know, because it looked so terrible. Finally, I got like a whole new fresh take on it when it was primed, and it looked so much better already. So those of you that know, my style is very French country, old. I like stuff that looks old. So that's what I'm gonna do on this piece. And I've been trialing some stuff today, just trying different techniques, different paint colors, just seeing kind of what I like. I'm trying to mix it up and kind of do something different from my norm. So today we're going to be playing with Melange paint, which I'm obsessed with right now. I know the camera, it's backwards to you guys, but this color is called Free Spirit Blue. Super pretty light blue. And then I don't know how to pronounce this one, Paperie White, something like that, P-A-P-E-R-I-E. So I'm just kind of mixing basically these two together. I'm actually doing quite a bit. So I'm going to show you kind of what I've done here. I'll try to bring you in closer, but my camera doesn't go much lower. Let's see. Okay, so obviously this drawer is done, and then the rest is not really, the body itself is not done. I've just been working on the drawers. What I did here is primed it with a good bonding primer because this, like I said, was that slick Formica stuff. So I wanted a good bonding primer. I wasn't so much worried about tan and bleed through. And then once I primed it, I actually added this Dixie Belle Sea Spray, which is a texture additive. Okay, this stuff here. It's a powder. You mix it with your paint. I don't know if any of you used this before. You just mix that with your paint. And it just, basically, a lot of people feel like, why would you put texture on your furniture? If you have a piece of furniture, and not this one in particular, but if you have a piece of furniture that's just really damaged, there's lots of nicks and dings, and it's just not, you're not going to get and then you try to give it a smooth finish and you see all those flaws, maybe consider using this texture additive because it just adds texture and gives it kind of that old look, old worn look. So I mixed the Sea Spray texture additive with the Melange paint. And then I just used a chip brush. I'm not going to do it right now on air or on this video, but that's basically all I did. Mixed it so it kind of has like this brownie batter consistency, and then I stippled on the texture. So literally just dipped my brush and then just did, this until it covered the primer. And I'll try bringing it in closer to see if you can see, I don't know if you can see it, the texture there. Okay, so that's what I was going for. If you have too much texture, you can always sand this back a little bit so it's a little smoother. And then what I did after that is I applied, which I'll show you here, that's what we'll do on video, these two colors kind of together on the piece. Then I add a little bit of brown wax for that kind of aging that you'll see, and it's super subtle on camera, I know, but I wanted to have this like gold shimmer, but really subtle, and I couldn't figure out. I pulled out wax. I have this gold wax that works really well, but I want it to not go on in a controlled way, if that makes sense, because I was like putting it on my finger and it just looked really bad. So I was like racking my brain, like, what can I use to give it like this dusting of gold? Well, I'm obsessed right now with Posh Chalk's Pigments, but it's a powder, and you're supposed to mix it with gloss polyacrylic, and it creates like this super pigmented kind of glaze. But I was like, wonder if I could dust this on, but then you need a way to get the powder to stick. So I used clear wax, Dixie Belle clear wax, and put it a little bit on a brush, put a little bit of the wax on my brush, and then dipped it in the powder and just kind of like brushed it on, and it gave it this subtle kind of glow. So I'll show you kind of how I did that all in this video, but those are the products I've used so far. And I think I'm basically like, this will be the whole look of it when I'm done. I don't know that I'm going to add any transfers or anything more to it. So let's go ahead and start. Let me try to pull this drawer out a little bit here. The only bad thing about the chip brushes is they leave like the hair comes out of these cheap ones really easily. So there'll be like hair from the bristles stuck in your sea spray. So I had to go through and kind of like pick out any hairs that were still, or any bristles that were still there. Because I don't know what the bristles on the finish. Okay, so let me show you how I did this. Just super simple. Now I love this blue by itself, but I wanted like this mix of this, again, it's subtle on here, but you can kind of see this cloudy mix of white and blue and the gold, and then a little bit of that aging kind of brown wax, which is what I was going for. So just dampening my brush, and I'm gonna apply it in a stippling motion as well. And the reason for that is just because, again, the texture, I want it really textured looking. So, and you can use any brush for this. I'm using my good synthetic brushes, but usually, again, a chip brush, those cheap dollar store chip brushes work well. And I love these finishes because they are not perfect, they're not clean, they're just very easy to do. And I love layering paints. I'm just stippling on the Melange Free Spirit Blue. And if any of you are here, I think I see some of you on, but I haven't seen any comments. So if you're here, let me know where you're tuning in from and what you're up to today. It is like so humid in Texas today. It's like the air is heavy and it's cloudy and foggy and not ideal for painting. And this piece is massive. It's like 70 something inches long and super heavy. There's no place that I could put it inside the house right now and paint. So I actually took all the drawers in and painted the drawers in the house. I don't like painting when there's a lot of moisture. It just takes forever for it to dry. Okay, let me just make sure I got the side and the top here. Okay, so my blue is on, but I'm gonna go ahead and go over top of it and keep it kind of wet. I wanna do this when it's all still wet. I'm gonna go over top of it with a different brush with the white. And you can mist it with a spray bottle if you feel your paint is sticking or getting a little dry. I'm not too worried because, again, the humidity must be at like 90% today, so it just really softens that blue up a little bit more. And that is it. I mean, no ever reason as to my pattern or how I'm applying it, just stippling it on. And I'll go ahead and dry it, I guess, real quick here. And that way we can do the next part, which is the wax. Okay. So I'm cooking up a storm with food that's getting old. That's smart. Oh, that's really smart. I actually just had to go to the grocery store because my kids are, well, they're still in school this last week, but man, they're eating like crazy. Like, they're just going through fruit and meats like crazy. And they're about to, one of them's home, so I'm sorry if you hear one of them screaming for me. He's watching TV right now, so we'll see how long that lasts. Okay, I'm just gonna dry it just so we can kind of move on to the next step. Which I need it really dry for the wax part here. Still have to do the sea spray on the entire body. And it takes a while. You're sitting there like stippling. Kind of exhausting. It's like an arm workout. I might just go ahead and do that top drawer. I should move this so you guys can see. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna let this cool down. It's mostly dry now, but it's really hot from, usually I use a blow dryer, but I only have my heat gun out here. So whenever you use your heat gun to dry it and then you want to go to your next step, let it cool down. Let that cool down before you do the next thing. So I'm actually just gonna go ahead and do this top one real quick. Let that cool down. Oh, this one's a little stuck. Here's another little tip. I have 6 drawers. I took them all out and I wrote numbers on the back of them. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are over there, and that helps when you have to put it all back together. Not just because like these are pretty like easy to figure out because of the look of them, but some, you know, they, even though they're all made the same, they just don't always go back in the right way and they stick. And so number your drawers for sure, and take out your drawers. I see people paint and they don't take out the drawers and they don't like inspect the insides and get all the nasty spider eggs and stuff. Make sure you take them out and clean back in there. Inspect your tracks, make sure they're in good shape. Basically, I don't really leave anything untouched when I'm redoing furniture. There's one of those bristles I was talking about that got stuck in the sea spray. There it goes. Get it out. Yeah, I don't really leave a lot untouched. I pretty much tear apart furniture and really inspect it all, make sure there's any repairs that need to be done, get done. Because I hate when I'm finished with the piece and then I find something that I miss and then I have to worry about messing up my finish, trying to fix it, and I have done that before. That's why I've learned to not jump the gun. Like, prep is everything, and I cannot say that enough. And I hate the prep. Like, it's a lot. Sometimes, like, this one was a lot. I chemically stripped and sanded the top down, and then, like I said, this thing, just getting it cleaned, just ready for paint, was a nightmare. I'm sure my neighbors were outside going, why in the heck is she hosing off her furniture? But if you don't get all that nasty old finish kind of especially this one because it had stain on the Formica. I needed to get as much of it off and scuff sanded so that the next finish would stick. And you know, I could have added the sea spray in with the blue paint and then these would have already been blue. I kind of wanted to see some of that white peeking through, especially if I sanded it. I thought maybe I might sand it down a little bit and reveal some of the white underneath. I wasn't sure, so I just went with the white. Okay, let's see how that looks here. Okay, now I'm just taking the white. What do you clean the wood with, especially the drawer? Oh, I just clean it with the regular, again, depending on what's in there. This was just the wood. Oops, I dipped it in my blue accidentally. I clean it with a degreaser, and then I condition the wood. Any wood that's left untouched, I condition it. And I like to use a couple different thick products. It just depends on the client a little bit too, like if they're sensitive to smells. I like hemp oil, as it doesn't have an odor to it. And then I really like the Wise Owl. That's the brand, Wise Owl, and salve, wood salve. They have a bunch of salves that smell amazing. And they're kind of like a waxy substance. And I just put those on well, you can take like a natural bristle brush like this, that's maybe a little bit bigger, and you know, kind of just do circular motions to apply it and then wipe it back with a soft cloth, or you can apply it with a soft cloth, but I do recommend you wipe it back because it can get on other articles, you know, whatever someone places in the drawer, it can transfer to them. So just make sure you wipe it back and then inform your client, you know, when you conditioned it. Like if it's been a couple days, that might still transfer stuff. If it's been a month, I don't worry, it'll dry and it won't transfer anymore. So I'm liking this look here. Looks pretty much like the other one. Okay. So let's move back down to this one because I think it's nice and dry. I mean, oh my gosh, it is so humid here, guys. Like, I'm a little worried about trying to wax. You really want it dry when you do the wax part. Gosh, it's still really, you can just tell because it just feels damp to me. And I know it's just because I'm in my garage. Okay, well, we're gonna just proceed anyway. So, okay, I like the Dixie Belle waxes. I like them when they get a little bit old. Brushed by Brandy taught me that trick. So what I do is I take a separate, this is what they come in, this container here. And I have these little containers from Amazon, and I just scoop some of it into here, and then I leave the lid off. And I let it get almost like kind of crusty, kind of dried out. I like it better that way than this is very like soft, like I don't know, it almost feels like a wax. I mean, it is a wax. It feels like just really slick, versus like this brown one is just more, I don't know, crusty. I don't know the best way to put it, just dried out. And I find that it smudges better that way when I'm trying to just get this nice little shadowed effect. It smudges better when it's older. So I don't age my clear one because I don't really use the clear one very often. But I use the brown and the black a lot. So I do have these out in these little containers just dried out. And then I love these brushes. These are just from Amazon, just cheap, like, I don't know what they are. Natural bristle brushes, different sizes for doing the wax. And then you may want to have like some sort of maybe baby wipe or soft rag, because I am going to apply this without top coating. So the thing about wax is, you know, this is chalk paint. So this Melange paint is the chalk paint. So it's porous, okay? So when you put wax over a porous surface or paint, it like grabs, okay, it sticks and doesn't want to move. So sometimes I want that brown wax to be able to move, right? So if you want to have more control over your wax, then you may want to top coat it first with a polyacrylic, and that just kind of seals that porous chalk paint and allows you, when you put the wax on, it allows movement to your wax. I don't do this as much because I'm pretty comfortable working with waxes, and I know that if I make a mistake, I usually can baby wipe it off, although it's not perfect, it's not as easy. Or clear wax actually acts a little bit like an eraser, and if you are using your brown and there's too much, you can take a little bit of your clear and kind of go back over it, and it'll kind of fade out if you've got too much in one spot. So just, again, it's trial and error. I used to always top coat before I wax. Then I found the wax was taking like way too long to dry over my top coat, so I just go right into the wax part. So let me pull this drawer open. I know that was kind of a lot to take in, but I'm going to explain. Because I don't want someone to get their wax out and start waxing, and then they're like, it looks terrible and I can't wipe it back. Well, it's hard to wipe back when you're putting it over your porous chalk paint. So you don't need very much, just a little bit. And I'm just going down in these kind of, these lines, these deeper lines of the drawer here. To me, that's where something would naturally age and gather dirt and dust anyway. So I'm just focusing on kind of in there. And I'm just very lightly, I'm barely pressing just down in that little crevice. And you can even use I have a smaller one of these. That would probably be better because this is a really small area. Can you see that? Let me bring you in a little closer. Okay. It's easier actually to take the drawer out and lay it on its back because I can't really see to get under here, but I want you guys to kind of get the gist here. Go to this side. Sorry if you're seeing the back of my head here. Okay, I'm just gonna do that for now. I need to keep going kind of along it, but so then if you want to soften that line a little bit, like I was saying, you can I can take like a bigger brush that basically has nothing on it and just kind of rub at it, or you can take a little bit of the clear wax, just a little bit. Let me wipe just a little bit here, and it just kind of softens or blurs, whatever word you want to use there. Now, if I want to top coat over this, which I will want this wax to be good and dry before I do that. So usually, again, depends on your climate. Since it's so humid, this would probably take like a month to dry in my, no, I don't know, but I know it would take a while, the more humid it is. So probably a good 3 to 5 days of drying in ideal conditions before I would top coat. And the other thing I want to mention is I spray my top coats. So if I spray this tomorrow without the wax being really fully dry, it would be okay. The reason I say you want to wait till it's dry before you top coat is because when you brush on your top coat and that wax isn't dry, you're just going to move your wax with the top coat. So when you brush on your top coat, that wax potentially may move, kind of reactivates it essentially. So if you're going to spray your top coat, you could do that, you know, tomorrow. But if you're going to brush it on, you're going to really want to make sure that wax is dry. And I've even heard people, again, personal experience, I haven't, because I spray, I haven't dealt with this, but I've heard people have let their wax dry weeks and they still brushed on their varnish and it moved their wax. So, in that case, I would then varnish first or apply your polyacrylic first and then do your waxing if you're concerned that your wax might move. Again, this is not top coated, but you can definitely top coat it first and then do the wax second. Again, that allows more control of your wax. So because this is porous, this wax is like, as soon as I put my brush to it, it's staying. It pretty much stays put. It doesn't move a whole lot because it's just sucking into that porous chalk paint. So, so there is kind of how it looks. Do you guys like it? So I wanted to show you, and I think that answered, is it, how do you say, Ralitza's question about the varnish versus, you know, if you want to varnish it first or not. So again, you definitely can do that first and then wax or vice versa. But again, I'm spraying my top coat, so I'm not worried about my wax moving. So I'm loving this. I even thought I might do some dry brushing of white, but because I was kind of mixing my white and blue paint, I'm liking the subtle variation of the two. I don't want it too white. I did want it to look blue. Okay, let me show you what I did with the Posh Chalk pigments. So I just dumped some, do I still have it out here? Yeah, here it is. I just put some in you were saying to coat, but I can't talk. Is that what I sound like? You know, when I watch myself on these videos afterwards, I always say I need to slow down and enunciate because some words do sound like, wait, what was I saying? And hi, Susie, how are you? Can you tell I do everything so fast? That's what happens when you have so many children. You have to work quick all the time. So I put the Posh Chalk pigments just in a cup, okay? And then I have this brush, this one, I'm just gonna use it. It's another soft bristle brush. And I have a little bit of clear wax. That's just gonna help that pig powder to stick. In fact, might need a little bit, just a little bit. You don't want too much clear wax on it. In fact, I'm gonna put some on my brush and kind of wipe it off so I don't have too much. And then watch this. This is so pretty. And it's just so subtle. Let me get you in closer. So if I bring you guys too close though, I bet the comments are probably in the way, aren't they? So is that good there? I don't know if you're gonna see this, but there's the pigment on my brush. So I'm just gonna, and I might need even more wax because the powder is just gonna fall off. So I definitely need something to help it stick. Yeah, and I kind of just like it sticking to these like corner pieces here. Oh, I'm in the wrong spot here. Let me move. I'm actually gonna put a little more wax because I can tell it's kind of just falling off. Or either that or I don't. Here we go. Okay, let me see where you guys will see it here. And I love it because it just like settles right in that texture. Oh, more wax. Apparently I need more wax than I think I do. Oh, that may have been too much. Now, again, if you're top coating it, I would not want to brush over this gold I'm putting on here because I think it would move or just come off. So I'm going to spray. So you might want to do this kind of thing after you varnish, although I don't know if it would stick really well, would be my concern. I'm kind of just going over the whole thing because I love it because it really raises that texture. I know it's hard to see it on film, but when I'm doing this, it's really bringing forth that texture even more. I'm not really pressing very hard at all. Oh, I love this gold. This gold is amazing. It's so highly pigmented, like I could use this on everything. In fact, I do pretty much use it on everything when I order some more of it. And it's by, I guess Would You Ben makes it. It's called Posh Chalk Pigments. This particular color is called Pale Gold. But there you have it. What is this stuff? Is it a powder? I have to get the sea spray. Yes. So Susie, this is that Posh Chalk Pigments. I think Would You Ben makes it. Yes, they do make it. Posh Chalk Pigments, I know it's backwards or flopped around for you, but this one's called Pale Gold. I have like 7 colors. This is my favorite color. It's about gone. But it's like a super fine powder, just super fine. And I cannot believe how pigmented it is. It's probably the most highly pigmented powder or product I've ever used, really. And then the sea spray, which I think you are familiar with the sea spray, Susie. So there it is. So now I just got to finish the whole piece. And I don't know if you guys saw. Oh, I have those doors open. It's really pretty piece. It's just, you know. And then I'll show you the top real quick, which I can't decide. Maybe you guys can tell me. And usually when I do this type of texture, I paint the whole thing. There is a little damage to the wood on the top here. See if I can bring you guys in. There's the wood top. And right here was, I'm gonna guess like something hot sat on it. I'm not sure, but it wasn't coming out when I sanded it. So I kind of want to keep the wood, but I'm not, because I don't like to cover up pretty wood, but I'm not certain. So I'm just gonna finish the piece and see how I feel about the wood. I won't feel too bad covering it up because it has that spot. I was thinking like a cool stencil, maybe. I have a round, like medallion looking stencil. Like maybe I could do the whole top and this, just leave the wood and then stencil something over it, and that might kind of obscure that area. And then this trim piece is actually like plastic. It's not even wood. So like if I was to stain this top and stain this, they wouldn't even stain the same color because this is veneer wood and this is plastic or some sort of laminate or whatever. So they wouldn't even stain the same color. So keep that in mind too. So that's why I'm like, do I want to save this wood? So we'll see. I may just end up doing like a cool stencil over it and then not staining it, just clear varnish over the top and be done. So, and I may play with the insides more, doing something fun, like a paper, or something in there on those 3 doors. So, okay, I don't know what time it is. I have to go get my 2 children here shortly. I might do this last drawer with you guys if you want to see me do one more drawer. And then I probably have to go get my children. I don't know what time it is. I wonder if I can see what time it is. Okay, we're good. It's only 2 o'clock my time here. So I don't know if any of you are hopping on or hopping off. If you have any questions about what I've done so far. I think I might actually get this piece done this week, which would be like a first for me because I never finish anything very quickly. Usually very slow. Oh, I need to finish down here still, the brown wax. Let me do that. Should just pull this drawer out, but then you guys won't see. So let me see. See if I can do it here. So just the brown wax again. I'm going to finish down here. I think that was the only spot. Let me see. Yeah. Trying to make sure they match here. Yeah. So a little bit of clear wax. I'm just smudging, basically just smudging that brown wax a little bit. Okay. Yeah, that looks good to me. You think a stencil would look nice, Susie? Yeah, I think so too. I usually, you know me, I usually like more simple, but I feel like it might be better to do that and cover up that kind of spot with a stencil versus covering all of the wood. Let any of you know what would get out. I think it's a burn or something hot got on it because it's not. I don't think it's moisture. Usually moisture, it's a lighter spot sometimes. Just depends how long it's been there, I guess. Oh, sorry, I forgot to turn off my notifications again. Paint's a little wet right there, so that's not allowing the wax to stick there. To me, like, these are the little things that really make this like a statement piece. You know, I could have just painted it this blue color or done a little bit of blending and then been done with it. But I feel like just adding these little things like this really kind of take it to the next level, make it look just, I don't know what the word is, but just gives it that extra kind of wow it needed. That, and I really just like this kind of aged look that it gives it when you use these waxes. These are water-based waxes that I'm using, so that just means that you make a mistake. Generally, like soap and water will take it off for you. Again, though, it's in a porous paint, so it's a little harder to remove it. But I use baby white. It usually works pretty well for me if I don't like it. So a little bit of white wax. I'm just smudging that brown wax that I just applied. It like shadows it, I guess, how I put that. Because when I first put it kind of down in these crevices, it's really defined. Okay, and then this white wax just allows it to kind of fade it a little bit. Make it also move a little bit for me. It's hard to explain sometimes because I can feel it in my breath. Like I can feel it when I'm doing it, but it's hard to explain what I mean until you actually just kind of do it yourself. Okay, so I like that, and we'll do a little bit of the gold. and I will hop off of here. So let's see, my clear wax, I might need a little bit more powder. Stuff is literally like liquid gold to me right now. Like, I need to order more, it's about gone. I'm just barely touching it here. And I'm sure it's subtle. I mean, it's subtle to me, and it's probably even more subtle to you guys. That's kind of what I wanted. Oh, like right here, it's really cool because it stuck. Like, there's a huge chunk of the texture over here. And it just kind of grabbed it, and I love that. I almost feel like I should have textured it more. That just means adding, like, having the sea spray texture with your paint when you're mixing it. You want more of like a brown, usually you want more of a brownie batter consistency. That gives you kind of like a medium texture, but if you want like heavy texture, then you add more of the powder and less of the paint, and it's really just chunky. But I like that. So a little more wax because it's kind of dusting off everywhere. I'll let you guys know how it holds up with the when I clear coat it, or when I spray my poly. I mean, I've never done this before. I've never paired wax with the Posh Chalk pigments, but I'm not gonna brush on my varnish or my polyacrylic sealer. I'm gonna spray it, so I'm thinking that this gold will stay put. It's not gonna go anywhere. It shouldn't lose any of its luster. Although I don't really even feel like I need to seal it. This paint is really durable on its own. You don't have to seal it by any means. You could just, I'm obviously using some waxes, which are a sealer. It's just gonna, polyacrylic and varnishes are just more durable than the chalk paint and the waxes alone. And because I sell my furniture, I typically, I want it to hold up a long time for the client and have a, very professional finish. So that's why I choose to usually do the polyacrylic. But again, with this type of look, I don't know that it needs it. So that is so cool. I don't know if you guys can see that. Maybe, should I pop this off or turn that down? Is that light too bright? Do you guys see that better? Worse? Can you see it? I don't know. Susie, you tell me. The ring light like blinds me. So I can't tell. Isn't that pretty? I don't know if you can see that. I'm hoping you guys can see that. Susie, what brand of paint? Oh, the Melange. Melange? Is that how you say that? Here, I'll show you. Which I have like a whole box coming from them today of like 10 more paints. I'm becoming pretty obsessed. The Melange paint. So they have a chalk paint, which this is the chalk paint, and then they have a name to it. It's basically like an all-in-one. So it's your primer, chalk paint, built-in top coat in one, which I like as well. But I like chalk paints because I do a lot of blending and I find chalk paints just work better for me as far as when I'm not just doing a solid finish. Solid finish, I'm all for paints with built-in top coats and such. But for, doing techniques like this and blending, I like just chalk paint. So there it is, guys. So now we're just I gotta add the texture down, to the whole body and just keep going. And I think that it'll be done. Decide what I'm gonna do about the top. So I am gonna hop off of here, and thank you guys for joining, or whoever has joined and stuck with me through this. And I'm excited to show you guys the finished product. So hopefully I get it done. What day is this? Tuesday? Hopefully I'll finish it tomorrow and get it photographed and posted for you guys to see. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Enjoy the rest of your day, and thanks again for watching. Bye.